What's up, Stat Fam? I told you we was coming back with another one. We got when Michael Jordan bullied Larry Bird and instantly regretted it. This is a live reaction. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and comment below. Let get it. Shout out to the Lord. Thank the Lord for another day. It's legendary. Promise you, it's big, you know. We done seen another. Shout out to you, Lord. I promise you, know. You always gonna get a mention over here. Shout out to y'all. I hope y'all having a good day. Enjoying y'all day. One thing I can tell you though, we second to the Lord. We're gonna get it started early. We ain't gonna hold y'all too long. We ain't gonna do too much talking. We're gonna get down to business.
You are currently looking at a 21-year-old Michael Jordan, a kid who is fresh off his junior season at North Carolina and has yet to play in a single NBA game. You are also currently looking at a 27-year-old Larry Bird, who is in his prime. Looking at this matchup on paper, this should have been no contest. Jordan was the leader of the 1984 Olympic team, a team made up of college kids, while Bird, he was leading a team full of NBA All-Stars who were supposed to toughen up the college kids before the Olympics and show them what life in the NBA was like. Only that's not what happened. Instead, Michael would go on to embarrass Larry and in turn created a rivalry that Michael himself would regret, because sure, Mike put up individual numbers against Bird and the Celtics that were absurd, but as you are about to see, during his time in the NBA, Michael Jordan eventually got the best of basically every star he ever faced off against except for one, and that man is Larry Bird. Now, you guys may remember this sequence from The Last Dance, and I'm going to explain to you why it's so meaningful.
Enjoy yourself, dog. You. Y'all gave us the real about money. Yeah. Thanks to work on that golf game of yours.
As you just saw, Michael cursed out a then head coach of the Indiana Pacers version of Larry Bird after the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals, where the Pacers took the Bulls to 7 games. Now, Michael said these curses with a smile, but there was no joking when it came to Michael Jordan and basketball. Mike was this hyped to beat Larry because after taking him down in that Olympic exhibition game, in all reality, Jordan would never really get the best of Larry again, and instead, it was Larry Bird who would get his revenge. So what's up guys, Mike here, and today we are taking a deep dive on the story between Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. An underrated rivalry that again could possibly be the only rivalry that Michael Jordan was ever bested in. There are some absolutely crazy stories in this video. I know you're gonna love it. I do want to say though guys that episode 7 of my podcast Laced Up is out right now. In that episode we talked about the NBA MVP and we did a huge NBA playoff preview. Make sure to go check it out. The link is in the description, and remember, if you go to the Laced Up podcast channel, if you subscribe and turn on post notifications, you are going to be entered to win a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. That is a pretty sweet deal for just a few clicks of a button. So guys, go check out the podcast, link in the description, and now let's talk about this video. Let's set the stage with the 1984 Olympic team and the NBA All-Stars. Because you see, in order to get his team ready for the 1984 Olympics, Bob Knight scheduled 8 exhibitions with current NBA players, including several current All-Stars and future Hall of Famers. Now remember, at this point in time, only college kids could play in the Olympics. However, it was expected that these college kids would lose to the NBA All-Stars, right? Well, we'll get into that, but this also led to the first documented Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird matchup on July 9th, 1984. In this game, the NBA All-Star starting lineup featured future 3-time NBA champion John Paxson, 3-time All-Star Mark Aguirre, and 3 Hall of Famers in Robert Parrish, Isaiah Thomas, and of course, Larry Larry Bird. Meanwhile, the Olympic team had 3 future Hall of Famers in Michael Jordan, Chris Mullin, and Patrick Ewing, but these were just college kids and they had no business really competing with NBA All-Stars. The Olympic team actually went 8-0 against 8 separate teams of NBA stars. As we all know, Michael Jordan was not the number 1 or number 2 pick in the 1984 draft, but playing for Bob Knight, Jordan established himself as a dominant force, and it was clear this guy was going to make a huge impact in the league right away, and he did, as Mike would average over 28 points per game as a rookie. Now, because of this, Larry Bird saw Jordan as a threat. He saw him as a young kid who was going to try to come in and take over the league that Bird was currently dominating. Remember, Larry was the MVP in 1984, and he would actually win MVP in 1985 and 1986 as well. This meant that Larry Legend was at his apex, and he wanted Michael Jordan to know this was his league, which meant, according to Sports Illustrated, during the pregame warmups in Indy, Jordan had chased the ball to the NBA end, whereupon Bird controlled it. Did Bird hand it to Jordan? He did not. Without a smile, Bird kicked the ball over Jordan's head back to the Olympian's end. Jordan didn't seem surprised, he just shook his head. 4 nights later, when Jordan crashed to the floor in Milwaukee and Johnson paused to help him up, the NBA coach waved Johnson off. "Get away from him, he's been over our backs all night," shouted none other than Oscar Robertson. Looking at Larry Bird specifically here, you heard that right. When a ball bounced to the NBA All-Star side and Michael Jordan went to retrieve it, Larry Bird did not give it to him. Instead, he kicked it over Michael Jordan's head. With this, Larry was telling Mike, "I don't care who you are, you're going to have to earn respect in the NBA, and it's going to be tough." The thing is, though, this move would look kind of silly because on this night, Michael Jordan would embarrass the NBA All-Stars, including Larry Bird. Mike would help lead the Olympic team to a win as he showcased his jaw-dropping athleticism and his ability to already seemingly score at will. And of course, it wouldn't be a Michael Jordan game if there was not a huge highlight, which came in the form of this absolutely monster dunk over Robert Reed. Now, as for what Mike thought about Larry's actions during warm-ups, he would later say, quote, "Bird was showing me it was all business now, and I was beneath him. I didn't forget." Which means, I guess you could say, Michael Jordan took this personal. But the thing is, Larry Bird took this personal too. Remember, Larry was in his absolute prime at this point, but so were several Hall of Fame guards and forwards, and as I'm about to show you, Michael would eventually get the best of all of these players, because when Michael entered the NBA, 4 guards/forwards would make the first team All-NBA in Michael's first 2 seasons. And guys, before we continue quickly, remember on this channel right here, if you also subscribe and turn on post notifications, once we hit 1.7 million subscribers, I'm also going to give one of you a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, so make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications. It's completely free. And guys, remember, if you're already subscribed, make sure to turn on post notifications too. That way you are also entered for this giveaway. All it takes is one click of a single button. Continuing on, these men were Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and Dominique Wilkins. Now, as you can see against Dominique, for his career, Michael beat him in everything. Wins, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, points, you name it. Michael had Dominique's number in the regular season, and in the playoffs, the 2 matched up once, and Mike's Bulls swept Dominique. Moving on to Magic Johnson. Michael barely snuck out a win difference in the regular season, and I would say certainly he had better overall numbers, but what was most important was, in their one meeting in the NBA Finals, Jordan dominated, and the Bulls won Mike's first championship in 5 games. So again, advantage Mike. This brings us to Isaiah Thomas, the one other name on this list that actually has an argument for besting Mike. Now, in the regular season, Isaiah did win more games, but again, I'd say Mike had better numbers, and then in the playoffs, Mike's numbers were clearly better, but Isaiah does have the win differential here. The thing is, though, Mike would get his revenge against Isaiah. He would, of course, knock out the Pistons in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals after years of losing to them, a revenge that was so sweet that the Pistons refused to shake hands with the Bulls after they were swept. This revenge makes all the difference, because in Michael's matchups against Larry Bird, when looking at them head-to-head, we can see that in the regular season, Larry bested Mike in the wins column and put up similar numbers other than scoring. Then in the playoffs, bam, Bird's Celtics took down Jordan's Bulls all 6 times they played, and even though Mike had some absurd games, including, of course, his 63-point outburst against the 1986 Celtics, where Larry would call Michael Jordan God disguised as Michael Jordan, Larry and his team always got the best of Michael, and that never changed. Jordan would never get revenge over Larry Bird, which is, of course, not only extremely rare, but makes Larry one of a kind. And the thing is, Mike Mike acknowledged this. When Larry eventually retired, Michael would make this statement. "Larry, I hear that you're retiring. Thank goodness, I'm glad. I'm tired of seeing your face. You brought a lot of sad memories for me. I enjoyed it and I wish you a lot of luck, and I think you had a great and wonderful career. You ruined a lot of my successful games against the Boston Celtics." Some great words and some telling words, because we can see here Larry Bird was really the one guy that Michael Jordan never got. And sure, Larry Bird's Celtics were better than Michael Jordan's Bulls early on, but that was the case of a lot of teams when Michael Jordan entered the NBA. The thing is, Mike got revenge on every single one of those teams except for the Celtics and Bird. This already is huge, and I think because of this, Mike not only had the ultimate respect for Larry, but he also openly admitted that he learned a lot from him, especially in the matter of getting into his opponent's heads. Mike has stated, "Larry Bird is the greatest trash talker and mind game player of all time. He taught me everything I know about getting in folks' heads." This was certainly true. During his time in the NBA, Mike watched as Larry did the following things, and this is just naming a few Larry Bird trash talking stories, as there are a ton. But number one, in Mike's rookie year, Larry was playing the Atlanta Hawks and dropped 60 points, an amazing feat that was even more incredible because according to Doc Rivers, quote, "The last shot he said in the trainer's lap coming down the court, which meant it was going to be a three and it was going to be from deep. And then he said, 'Who wants it?' Then I think Reggie Brown, I'm not sure who it was, ran out after him. He shot this high rainbow. It goes in. Reggie bumps into him and accidentally knocks him on our trainer's lap." Yes, Larry Bird actually landed in the trainer's lap, scored 60 points on the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks bench celebrated. Absolutely amazing. Story number two, of course, Larry went into the locker room before the 1988 three-point contest, asked everyone competing who is coming in second, then proceeded to keep his warm-up jacket on and win the contest on this final shot.
This is a tie for the money. Yo! At the buzzer with the two-point ball.
Then, of course, we have number three, an absolute classic, as on Christmas Day in 1990, Larry went up to Indiana Pacer Chuck Person before the game and said, "Hey Chuck, I have a Christmas present for you." Then, during that game, he pulled a three in Chuck's face and said, "Merry Christmas," as he drained it. These are just three of the legendary trash talking stories that Larry Bird racked up during his NBA career, and I wanted to highlight them because Michael saw what Larry was doing. Michael saw how effective this trash talking was and began to do the same. He saw that Larry played mind games with his opponents and that this paid off big time, and so Michael developed his own style of getting into his opponents' heads and even went as far as befriending Charles Barkley during the 1993 NBA Finals, taking him golfing before Game 4 of those finals and giving him a $20,000 earring so that Chuck would lose his competitive edge. That's right, when asked why he did this, Mike supposedly said, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's $20,000 to me? Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat An absolutely incredible story, and again, Michael himself said that he learned from Larry. He learned how to get into his opponent's heads, and this paid off big time as his career progressed. Which brings us to my final thoughts. What should we take away from this video? Well, to me, I think it's remarkable that the one guy that Michael Jordan could never best was Larry Bird, and maybe, of course, if Larry Bird's back did not give out, Michael would have gotten his chance to take down Bird because his career would have been longer. But it can also be said that if Larry's back held up, he would have been better, he would have stayed in his MVP form, and it could have been the Celtics who were beating the Bulls in the playoffs in the late 1980s, so Larry could have even gained a larger advantage on Jordan. We'll never know for sure there. What we do know is that in an extremely rare occurrence, it was an opponent who took things personal against Michael Jordan and actually got the better of him. Yes, Larry Bird took the loss in that 1984 exhibition game, but then after that, he did not do a whole lot more losing, especially in the playoffs. 6-0 for Larry Bird and the Celtics. That is something that Larry Bird will take to his grave and is the reason why Michael was so hyped to beat Larry Bird when Larry was a coach. Finishing up here though, I do also think it's awesome that Mike really held no hard feelings against Larry. Sure, he is a competitive psychopath and always wanted to beat Larry, but he has openly praised Larry Bird. He has openly said that he has learned from Larry Bird, and he has said that he used this knowledge to help himself become the greatest basketball player of all time. With that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe. And also, go check out my podcast and subscribe and turn on post notifications there. You're going to be entered to win a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. And on this channel, same deal. As soon as we hit 1.7 million subscribers, I'm giving away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. So turn on post notifications here and subscribe here as well. That way you have 2 chances to win a PS5 or an Xbox Series X for free. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. And to everyone who's already subscribed, make sure your post notifications are on so you're also entered for the giveaway. And thank you for supporting. You guys are awesome. And as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're going to love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.
Big Bird, the greatest small forward ever. The greatest all-around player to ever come straight into the NBA. They had to work on his game. They had to work on nothing. That's legendary. That's big. The work speaks for itself. Salute to Jeffrey. Salute to Big Bird. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard what Jeffrey told Bird? Man, I'm getting tired of looking at you, man. Used to torture. He used to torture, man. Put on a show out there against them Bulls. That's legendary, though, Big Bird. You see, we ain't got no problem saluting Big Bird. See, y'all Brown fans, this is what y'all need to take accountability of. Jeffrey, you know how to take accountability. We know how to salute Big Bird. You feel me? We know how to salute our opponents. They got the best of it. What the hell can we say? We're not about to prolong it and keep going on and say we didn't. Say we did beat him. We know Big Bird got his 6-0. He handled his business. And Jeffrey saluted it too now. That's Big Bird. It's a real legend out there. Big Bird won't no damn, it won't nothing to play with now. Big Bird can't handle his business. No, goodbye. She's gone. Talking about came straight into the league. Didn't have to work on nothing. He already had a package. That's cold. You definitely had 14 in that bag. I promise you. That would be right there, Big Bird. Can't never, hey. It's legendary. We salute Big Bird. We salute Jeffrey. I'm one of the greats. Both of the greats right there. I'm talking about big goats. Them right there. Who y'all got in a one-on-one? Jeffrey versus Bird. I love to see that. I pay to see that today. I pay to see that motherfucker right now. I'm talking about, hey, what y'all got going on? Look how old you is. We trying to see it. We know y'all still put them up there. I promise you now. Shout out to Jeffrey. Shout out to Big Bird. Bird family. Thank y'all for watching the full video. Stat family, thank y'all for watching the full video. We're going to be back with another video after this video. Make sure y'all stay prayed up. Y'all be safe. And y'all be good. You know?